Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And we're back with all kinds of fun and madness for you. Start out the week informed, but amused, hopefully. I mean, I don't know how amusing these Democrats are. They're just so stupid and so wrong on everything that you just have to marvel at it. Over the weekend was, of course, the 3-year anniversary of the day democracy almost died.
Almost.
Here's how New Hampshire Democrat Senator Jean Shaheen marked the occasion. She tweeted out this little pearl of wisdom from our founding father, Benjamin Franklin.
I like pearls of wisdom.
Here's what she tweeted. "A democracy, if you can keep it," said Ben Franklin.
Oh, no.
January 6th, 2021 was a stark reminder of just how fragile our democracy is. It's on each and every one of us to never forget the actions that led to that day so we ensure history does not repeat itself.
Okay.
How about you become informed about what kind of country you're representing? How about that? How about what our founding father said? Maybe you could, I don't know, actually look into it and not just... although I think this is a concerted effort on purpose, and we've talked about it many times. He did not say a democracy, if you can keep it. He said a republic, if you can keep it. Does she know the difference? Yeah, I bet she does. I bet she actually does, but this is what we've talked about a million times. They're trying to get us used to the term so that they can make that switch.
Yeah, and if you do a Google search of the quote, the incorrect quote, "a democracy if you can keep it," I mean, it is everywhere.
Is it? Mm-hmm. With people believing that's what he said?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. I mean, let's just educate ourselves.
Yeah, and something else that Ben Franklin said that I don't know if Jean Shaheen is aware, but he's also quoted as saying that he said, "Don't elect morons if you can avoid it." And I don't know that we've heeded that.
No,
he didn't say
we
that.
haven't.
Did he say that?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. People in New Hampshire clearly didn't follow that advice.
Yeah, jeez. That would be that'd be a great quote.
Yeah.
Because I'd really like us to take that to heart from now on. Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins sat down with Tucker Carlson over the weekend. And he had a lot to say about January 6th, including the FBI's obvious involvement in the lead up to it.
Mail-in ballot thing, we could see the stage was being set for a compromised election cycle, possibly. And to our horror, that's what happened. So FBI had fingerprints on this thing for many months prior to J4, 5, and 6.
I want to go back to something you said in the first sentence, which is you have seen evidence, and that spurred your questions to Chris Wray, that there were FBI assets dressed as Trump supporters within the Capitol. So that is proof of entrapment because, of course, the federal government could have prevented entry into the Capitol building. There aren't that many doors. You work there, you know. But they allowed people in on purpose to entrap them. That's what that proves, I think. Does it not?
Well, it's certainly condemning. It's another piece of the strategy that the government employed to sort of complete the entrapment of Americans that they had infiltrated and then prodded and provoked with online with those original seeds planted of actions like, you know, what type of gear to wear and just in language that incited behavior that could go the wrong way. You know, pushing actions of legal and legitimate peaceful protest to an edge where those Americans would likely not have gone had they not been encouraged by the FBI plant amongst their number that they didn't know was there. So by the time it was actually J6 and you had masses of Americans assembled outside the Capitol, almost like 99.9%, 100% peaceful. On the inside, you had FBI assets dressed as Trump supporters that knew their way around the Capitol.
Before the doors even open.
Before the doors open. Or else how are you going to get around the Capitol? You've been there many times. You need a guide to get from whatever door you go in.
It's a labyrinth.
It's a maze inside there. So that's right. So there's no way, just Americans, most of which have never been to the Capitol, there's no way they can come in some random door that gets opened and then get their way directly to the statuary or the House chamber or the Senate chamber. It's just not possible. So the FBI assets that were dressed as Trump supporters that were inside the Capitol were there, I believe, and evidence indicates that they were there to specifically wave in the Trump supporters that had gathered outside the Capitol, and the doors opened and they were allowed in. And on the inside were there's some more Trump supporters. But really those were FBI assets, law enforcement assets that knew their way around the Capitol. And they waved those guys in, said, come on, follow us. And they're the ones that led them on the path directly. How do you think a guy who's never been to the Capitol gonna come into the Capitol all amped up on emotion and make his way straight to Nancy Pelosi's office? Come on. It's like I couldn't get it. There's no way. I've been there for 7 years. Could come in some random door at the Capitol and make my way to Nancy Pelosi.
Everything is unmarked. I mean, those leadership offices are unmarked. So how would you know
It's confusing to get around in the Capitol. Every American that has been there knows this. When you go on a tour, you bring your family to D.C., you go through the Capitol, you have to have a guide.
I don't think I've ever heard that angle explored before.
I have not either.
That's interesting. That's a really good point. Everybody just came in, and I guess they had homing signals in their head.
Congressman Higgins, I mean, he says it point blank. These were FBI assets dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, it's probably true. I mean, would anything surprise you at this point?
Yeah, and speaking of the J6 stuff, the family of Ashli Babbitt has filed a $30 million wrongful death action, and I tweeted this out this morning. Jonathan Hurley had a write-up on this that he lays out new facts, like that Officer Byrd needs to be on trial somewhere. The man who shot Ashli Babbitt. I mean, her hands obviously were empty. He allegedly gave a false report of shots being fired.
He did.
After the fact.
Wow.
I mean, he just says, Turley says, the complaint, in my view, raises credible allegations that warrant serious review. Judicial Watch, by the way, representing the family. But, I mean, there were officers on the front, sides, back of her, and not one warning was given.
Yeah.
And based on the Supreme Court, according to Turley, you have to be an immediate threat, safety of officers or others. And again, if she's there pulling through that little opening in the window and her hands are obviously empty, then I don't see where the immediate threat was. So good luck to the family of Ashli Babbitt.
Presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy has some things to say about the FBI.
The FBI, it's been rotten since its inception, and it was designed to actually be rotten to its core. And so what you see today isn't any surprise. It isn't a deviation from the purpose of the institution. It's actually an instantiation of the purpose of the institution. You cannot reform it. Forget about building the new building. Of course, that's a waste of time itself. You have to shut it down. I don't think we need an FBI. In fact, I think we patently need to not have an FBI. Chainsaw first would bring the chisel after that. I'm going to make Javier Milei, I believe, look like a modern. I love Javier Milei. I think he's awesome. I've been following his campaign for a long time.
I love it.
We're going to put that on steroids in the United States of America.
Wow.
Stop the siren song, Vivek.
I'll tell you something. He's got guts. He really does.
I love it. I love it.
He doesn't seem to be making a lot of headway. For that, you have to not be a conservative. For that, you have to be a rhino, like Nikki Haley.
Oh, gosh.
For that, you have to be a warmonger. You have to equivocate on all kinds of different issues. You can't just be solid and consistent and bold and powerful as a conservative. That is almost guaranteed to get you nowhere in the Republican nomination process for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it happens every time. There's a big rumor right now that if and when he loses Iowa, which is almost a foregone conclusion,
Vivek?
Ron DeSantis, will drop out.
I see. Well, you know.
They said by the 15th he'll be gone.
I mean, that's...
His campaign denies that.
Okay, I mean, that's Iowa Caucus Day.
Right.
A week from today, which,
so
by the
it's
way,
either that night, they say, or the next day.
Okay, well, I mean, DeSantis has a very strong ground game in Iowa. A lot of energy, I guess
And
you
he's
could say,
second
on the
in
ground.
Iowa right now, according to the
And
polls.
If you've seen the forecast for next week for the primary, it could be below zero.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
only diehard supporters are going to get out to caucus when it's that miserable out. So that's why
You got to be really dedicated.
it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Below zero. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Not good.
Congrats to the Dolphins. You get to play in the similar weather in Kansas City next week in your playoff game.
Well, that'll be nice for him. Won't that be nice?
Yeah.
But what Vivek is saying about the FBI and what former President Donald Trump said last week about the FBI is a little different. Here's on Truth Social. Trump posted this. The FBI headquarters should not be moved to a faraway location, but should stay right where it is in a new and spectacular building in the best location in our now crime-ridden and filthy, dirty, graffiti-scarred capital. They should be involved in bringing back D.C., not running away from it, especially the violent crime. An important part of my platform for president is to bring back, restore, and rebuild Washington, D.C. into the crown jewel of our nation. We will make it crime-free and great again. That'd be an accomplishment. The FBI should not be fleeing for safer yet much less convenient environs. It should make where they are now the safest place on earth. Don't move the FBI. Slightly different from what Vivek said.
Does not feel like defund the FBI or drain the swamp at all.
It sure doesn't. It sure doesn't.
I mean, this is the same FBI he knows that raided his home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. That's right.
I don't get it.
I don't either. But
okay,
he's 1,000 points ahead.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. The latest poll had him at 62.7% or something nationally. Now, that doesn't mean a lot during the primary season, but 62% nationally, it's just huge.
We'll find out in a week.
We will. Supposedly in Iowa, it's like 46 to 23 or something. Trump versus DeSantis. And then, in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley's number 2. DeSantis is 4th. And I haven't seen the polls for South Carolina, but I'm guessing she's at or near the top of that list.
I'll check on that. That's her home state.
Yep. So she could have 2 primaries in a row where she looks really good and gain some serious momentum.
I swear.
I can't take it.
If she's on any ticket.
I know. I know.
I will not vote for that ticket. And I don't make a lot of guarantees in politics. Definitely not in sports.
Yeah.
But there's not a chance I vote for the Republican ticket if Nikki Haley is on it. Period.
People have taken to her.
Full stop.
It happens every time.
South Carolina, Trump's up big.
Is he?
Yeah.
Even over Haley, huh?
Yeah, 30 points ahead of Haley, who was in second.
Okay, 30 points, even in her home state.
According to the Real Clear Politics average.
I mean, this thing's pretty much over, it seems. Nobody's gotten any. Well, Haley's got a little bit of traction where it comes to passing up DeSantis.
Yeah,
but
Haley won't she won't shut the door on the possibility of being Trump's vice president.
Of course she won't.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But But I love, like, DeSantis was asked if he would be Haley's vice president. He's like, absolutely not. So he's not going to be the vice president for anybody.
Has he been asked if he'd be Trump's vice president?
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a pretty good. Supposedly, according to the article I read, that said he was going to drop out, they also said he'd endorse Trump when he did. So I don't know. We'll see next week, I guess. Maybe we'll be surprised in Iowa. It's happened before, but it does look like Trump's got this thing wrapped up already.
We'll see.
But he's been getting flack the last 48 hours for something he said about the school shooting in Perry, Iowa last night.
Yeah.
It's horrible to see that happening. That's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we'll have to get over it.
All right, you see how tight that was edited, okay?
Yeah.
Got to get over it. And that's how it's being portrayed.
Yeah.
How about the full context? You want that?
Yes, let's hear the full context.
Very good. Okay.
Before going further, I want to send our support and our deepest sympathies to the victims and families touched by the terrible school shooting yesterday in Perry, Iowa. To the entire community, we love you, we pray for you, and we ask God to heal and comfort really the whole state and the pain that you have. This is something that's very unique to your state. We're really with you as much as anybody can be. It's a very terrible thing that happened, and it's just horrible to see that happening. That's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we'll have to get over it. We have to move forward. But to the relatives and to all of the people that are so devastated right now, to a point they can't breathe, they can't live, we are with you all the way. We're with you, and we love you and cherish you. We're also
despicable.
Little different
big time
tone than
very different.
The scope down clip that we got first.
They're sure trying every way they possibly can to besmirch him, and they don't care what they have to do to make him look bad. They don't care if it's honest, dishonest, if it's a lie. So many of the things from the January 6th nonsense have been disproven too, and they don't get any coverage whatsoever. Nobody cares about the full truth of what happened on January 6th during that riot, not an insurrection. And it's interesting because they're using the 14th Amendment and the insurrection clause of the 14th Amendment to try to keep him off ballots. They're doing that in Colorado, did it in Maine, and now the Supreme Court is going to decide the issue. They're hearing arguments beginning on February 8th, so we still have exactly a month from today, and I wish you'd get on it a little bit quicker than that. You need to, because first of all, let's say it was an insurrection. All you have are accusations of insurrection. He hasn't been found guilty. He hasn't been found criminally liable for committing an insurrection. The clause they're talking about is in the 14th. It's Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And it has to do with, just to boil it down, if you've taken an oath to defend the Constitution and then you participate in an insurrection, you're ineligible for office. That's what they're trying to get away with accusing him of now. Well, you can accuse him of that all you want. He hasn't been convicted of anything. Even if that's how you view this situation, first of all, he's got to have the trial. And of course, it wasn't an insurrection to begin with. I mean, that's just asinine to call it that in the first place. This dumb riot that continually referred to by the left as an insurrection, and it almost destroyed our fragile democracy. Well, if we had a democracy, it would be fragile.
What Ben Franklin is. We had the quote. What do you mean?
Right, Gene Shaheen.
Yeah, and so you're referencing a Civil War era. I mean, they updated it later, I think, but Civil War era.
Yes, it was designed for the Confederates,
right?
Not to get back into office.
Well, interestingly enough, speaking of the Civil War, Donald Trump is out on the campaign trail Civil War been a hot topic lately, especially with Nikki Haley and her answer. But Trump made some comments about the Civil War, and boy, if he had only been around then, we could have avoided a lot of bloodshed in this country.
If you take a look, the wars, I don't know what it is. The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible. It was so horrible, but so fascinating. It was, I don't know, it was just different. I just find it, I'm so attracted to seeing it. So many mistakes were made. See, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died. So many people died. That was the disaster. If you got hit by a bullet in the leg, you were essentially going to die or lose the leg. That's why you had so many people, no legs, no arms. If you got hit in the arm or the leg, it meant you were up because the infection, gangrene. It was just such a, sort of a horrible time. But I was thinking to myself, because I was reading something, and I said, this is something that could have been negotiated. It was just for all those people to die, and they died viciously. That was a vicious war. Yep. And in many ways, look, they're all, there's nothing nice about it, but boy, that was a tough one for our country. But I think it's... it was Abraham Lincoln. Of course, if you negotiated it, you probably wouldn't even know who Abraham Lincoln was.
Wait, what?
He would have been president, but he would have been president. He would have been. He wouldn't have been the Abraham Lincoln. Would have been different, but that would have been okay. It's. It would have been a thing that, and I know it very well. I know the whole process that they went through, and they just couldn't get along, and that would have been something that could have been negotiated, and they wouldn't have had that problem. But it was a hell of a time. Yeah. And you think of it today, I would have absolutely stopped Putin. He would have never gone in, and he didn't. For 4 years he didn't. There was never even a thought of it going in, and that was the apple of his eye. He would tell me, we would talk.
Okay.
You could look.
Well, how would you have negotiated that down? How would you have stopped the Civil War with negotiation? I'd be interested to hear how he would have negotiated that with the South to figure that out.
He told you he's going to.
He would have negotiated it. Yeah, just work it out.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was the best thing he said right there.
Yeah,
it's good.
Good stuff. Okay. Also on the campaign trail, Nikki Haley been talking about the Civil War lately as well. She's been called out for saying that New Hampshire would correct whatever the Iowa Caucus results are.
Yeah, remember that? We played that last week.
Yep. Here's what she said over the weekend.
Okay.
But look, the structure of it is really pretty amazing. That Iowa starts it. You change personalities, you go into New Hampshire, and they continue it on. And by the time it gets to South Carolina, it gets bigger going into Super Tuesday. There's something very cool about the process.
Okay, so you change personalities. So she's been getting flack on that. What does she mean? Is she saying you are changing your personality for the state? Or are you talking about...
Or the personalities of the state?
Or the voters?
Yeah.
The personalities, the people who are actually still in the race after Iowa? What do you mean there? But she's just,
the personality of the race has changed.
She's had so many...
she's terrible.
She's
just terrible.
Comments lately that can be open to interpretation like that.
I don't understand how she is where she is. She should be dead last in this thing. Maybe ahead of Chris Christie.
I was about to say, Chris Christie's there at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe just slightly, like a half a point ahead of Chris Christie. They're both terrible. But that's where this usually winds up in the primary. When you have all these great choices. But at least you have the comfort to know that Trump is still leading her by 30 points or 40 points. So there's that. And let's check in with what Joe Biden was up to over the weekend, because he's always fantastic. You talk about Nikki Haley. This guy, of course, is even better. He showed up at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, ahead of his January 6th speech.
And they had to move up the January 6th speech to January 5th because of winter up there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Little thing called winter that kind of gets in the way of their global warming BS.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be happening now, should it? Thought the planet is warmed so much we're not going to see snow anymore. Remember that whole thing in the early 2000s?
Oh, I do.
You'll have to teach your grandchildren what snow looked and felt like, because there's not going to be any anymore.
I love it.
Okay. All right. Here he is. Joe Biden.
He's getting a field trip here. So the park ranger, I think Joe asks, is that a flagpole? What do you call that? Is that
What's that tall thing right there?
What is? Close your mouth, Joseph.
He can't.
Close your freaking mouth.
He can't and he won't.
There you go. Wait, where is he? Stand over here. Wait, don't go over
did
there.
he just circle around me? What am I?
Oh, you're a cat.
I don't know what to do about it.
Like a cat.
Oh, can I?
I think the park ranger was like, and these are called, this is where you put your feet.
Yeah, right.
Hey, who put this wall here? Huh? Is Trump in here?
Am I supposed to walk into it? What do I do with this thing?
Close your freaking mouth, man. Oh. I think
so confused.
I think he thinks he's at the border.
He has no idea.
Who put this wall here?
He doesn't know where he is.
Oh no, so bad.
We got a little taste of the angry speech that came out of his face. Okay,
another one.
I love it when he gets all excited.
He goes from whisper
mine.
0 to 60. Watch this.
And I believe I know America's. We'll defend the truth, not give in to the big lie. We'll embrace the Constitution and the Declaration, not abandon it. We'll honor the sacred cause of democracy, not walk away from it.
It's not democracy. We're not a democracy. Wow. But, man, they are hammering that like they've never hammered it before. It's unbelievable,
and
really.
And Dementia Joe.
Yeah.
0 to 60 with his whisper to rage.
He does that all the time.
Beavis moment.
And then, of course, as always, he gets confused at the end of his speech because he doesn't have the teleprompter telling him what to do, where to go, where to turn.
I know. He has to turn away from it.
Yeah.
And then he loses all stage direction.
He can't figure out where to go. And they've told him 1,000 times before the speech, Mr. President, turn around, walk straight back off the stage. Mr. President, turn to your left, walk straight off the stage. Be careful coming down the stairs. Somebody will greet you there. Whatever the case may be, he can't do it to the point where Jill has to come out and save him and take him by the hand and lead him off the stage. Literally. Here's what happened.
Come on, old man. Here we go.
Okay, there's a longer version. We'll have to play that later.
Oh, okay.
Where he looks around, he has no idea.
The lead up to the
lead up to it is great because I don't think she was meant to come out and lead him out.
Right.
I think she was waiting for him to come off the stinking stage and didn't. There's a 30-second clip, Chris. If you can find that, I'll send it to you here in a minute.
Copy.
But that was like 7 seconds.
Okay.
Afterward, Marine One landed back at Andrews Air Force Base.
And he doesn't have the benefit of Dr. Jill Biden at this moment.
And he's lost. He's just totally confused.
Oh, yeah, she's there, but then she just walks away.
There.
Watch this.
Which is a mistake. She should know better than that.
She thinks that he's got it handled. You got it? Okay, cool.
No.
There's a helicopter, right?
And look at somebody's waving him over.
Yep.
What's this?
Do I get back on it? What do I do? Hey, what do I do? What do I do? Tell me where I go.
Are you going to fly me to the door?
And the guy, look at, he's like, just he's holding his hand.
Where's Jill?
Yeah.
Incredible. It's incredible.
You just got off the helicopter. You want to walk this way now.
My gosh. How could you vote for this man? How could you possibly vote for him? He is so lost, so out of it. Bless his heart. He should be in a retirement home.
No, I refuse to feel sorry for this man for a nanosecond.
He should be in a home of some sort, or his own home back in Delaware. I don't care.
He should be in a prison.
He should not be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
You get free care at the prison system, and then the government can take care of you that way instead of as the president of the United States.
And you'll know exactly where to go because guards will be there with sticks helping you find the way. So that would be great.
Oh! Speaking of the Biden crime family, Nikki Haley was asked if she would pardon Hunter Biden, and she just meandered all over the place. Again, he hasn't been
right. He hasn't been.
That hasn't played out completely, but it was just so vanilla. It's just like I can't stand it when she speaks about anything because it's so frustrating.
Yeah, she's not good. She's not my optimal candidate, that's for sure. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. Jailbird for now tweets, changing Franklin's quote is purposeful. The left has mastered Orwellian changing of language. Have they ever? And we just let it be. We just let them do it. Watching it happen right before our very eyes. Even though we've been warned over and over and over by, literature, by commentators, by advisors, by philosophers. Please be careful of this. Watch for these things. And we still kind of don't. So, Holy Smoke 1776 tweets, the Communist Party is doing exactly what Big Mike Obama said we have to do. We need to rewrite history. Yeah. That's how you end up with founding fathers being intentionally misquoted.
Yep.
Jimmy Dimples, I've heard word that we should refer to January 6, 2021 as Entrapment Day.
Oh.
I'm all for that.
Like it.
Michael NP 1701, conservative can't get nominated because the system is filled with people who are only there to line their pockets. From Frank Johnson's alter ego, referring to Ashli Babbitt on January 6th, I'm telling you, the woman was halfway through a small window, practically horizontal, unarmed, and in a position that makes it impossible to pose a threat. This was nothing but murder. MSNBC over the weekend had a video on this.
Oh, they commemorated January 6th?
Commemorated the J6, which because it's been 3 years.
3 years since democracy almost died.
And here's what they had.
Is Michael Fanone, former D.C. Metropolitan Police Officer.
Oh, geez, this guy.
Courage for America Council.
Pause it for a second. Every time I see this guy show up on screen, I nearly vomit. Every time. What a douchebag this guy is. What a lying sack.
A grifter.
All right, here he is.
Is Michael Fanone, former D.C. Metropolitan Police Officer,
right.
Courage for America Council member,
Courage
and
for
author
America.
Of Hold the Line, The Insurrection, and One Cop's Battle for America's Soul. Officer Fanone, I'm going to try to get through this.
He doesn't pause it again. He doesn't think much of himself, does he? One cop's battle for America's soul.
Hold on, and I don't think, because neither you nor I have seen this clip. Chris just threw this at us, and I don't even think that Michael Fanone is the point of this clip. Am I right? It's going to be the MSNBC anchor's reaction to January 6th.
Oh, my gosh. All right, keep going.
Officer Fanone, I'm going to try to get through this.
Oh, no. He's going to cry.
Are you going to weep?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pause it for a second. This is unbelievable! The freaking anchor at MSNBC is weeping.
He has if you're listening, he has a handkerchief up to his face.
And he's going to try to get through. He's dabbing away the snot that's dripping down his nose already from his weeping and dabbing his eyes because the tears are pouring out.
I'm trying to get through this.
It is unreal.
This is awesome.
This is Kabuki
Officer
theater.
Fanone, I'm going to try to get through this.
Okay, go ahead. See if you can. What a hero.
Thank you.
For what you did 3 years ago today.
What did he do?
Please
What the
tell
hell
me
did he
your
do?
thoughts on this third anniversary.
This is pathetic. It'd be great if he wept as well.
He is. He's choked up.
Yeah, here we go. We are
still in the midst of the same fight that began on January 6th, 2021.
Are we?
And
Don't cry, bro.
we have a lot at stake in
Give
this
him a
country.
hanky. Give him a hanky or
and
a
I think
Kleenex.
that it deserves every American's attention.
Don't cry.
Okay.
Oh,
my
he's good. They're both good.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to try to...
Come on now.
Try to get through this.
So are you telling me that you guys did not cry like this?
No, like
MSNBC
babies.
reporter?
No.
Officer Fanone, I'm going to try to get through this.
I'm going to try to get through this. They're acting like it's 9/11.
I know.
For what you did 3 years ago
It's worse than
today.
9/11 to
All right,
them, remember?
stop. Again, let's remind ourselves here. Nobody died that day except Ashli Babbitt. She's the one who died. Oh, and another one of the Trump supporters got trampled to death. Two people died. They were both Trump supporters. That's who died. They'll try to attribute 5 cops' death that had nothing to do with it to this day, to this crowd.
And let's be clear on the trampled to death. Let's not make it sound like I don't think the crowd, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the police stomping her.
Yeah, it was the police. The police killed her. In both cases, the police killed people, not the other way around. As much as we support law enforcement, sometimes they don't deserve our support, as in this case, where they killed 2 people. Did they need to? I don't think so. Should Ashli Babbitt have been breaking windows and trying to get in to that door? No. But you didn't need to shoot her dead without warning, by the way. Without warning. Not, hey, stop or I'll shoot. Nothing like that. Talk about hands up, don't shoot. Nobody said that at that particular point either, and they should have. Jeez, I don't know. It's really difficult. I'm so tired of doing the disclaimers on January 6th because people did get unruly. A small number of people got unruly. There were probably 3 million people there. How many of those got out of control? A small percentage. A really small percentage.
At the behest of undercover FBI agents dressed as Trump supporters, according to Congressman Higgins.
Yeah. But they'll never grant that point. They'll never. They won't retreat on any of this, no matter how much the facts come to light and no matter how much we actually find out about this. They'll never let go of January 6th because it's all they have on the right. Pathetic. Okay, I think we got the full context of Joe Biden's confusion on that speech the other day when he turned around and there was nobody there to help him, and his wife had to come out and save him.
Okay. All right. Look, oh my gosh, he's just staring off because it's over. It's over.
Turns to the right. No idea.
Oh my gosh.
What do I do?
Yeah.
What,
my gosh.
What? Okay, here comes Jill.
Oh
thank
my
goodness.
Gosh.
So then they act like this was part of the program.
Yep.
Okay, hi, I just came out to take a bow too, even though I don't know what I'm taking credit for, but yeah, okay, I'm just here to get my old man off the stage. Let me just wave to everybody. Okay, now I'm going to pull him off the stage by his hand. Here we go. Wait a minute. Oh, another wave just to pretend. Okay, yeah, this was all planned in advance. Yeah. I'm not just here to... Now he's wandering around again in circles. Then she has to take him by the hand, literally, and walks him off the stage.
And then he looks up at the end, which is what you do when you're completely brain dead.
Look at this. Incredible to me. This guy is the president of the United States, the leader of the free world.
Yeah, and I think that's where he comes back to the podium and says, I know about power, or something like that.
Yes, he did, right? Yeah. He said that.
After his J6 speech?
Yeah. Well, he comes out and then he says that. I know about power, and nobody laughs at all.
Well, He's like,
what are you talking about? Yeah, it was a reference to Jill. Uh-huh. Yeah, she had to powerfully escort him off the stage. So, yeah, he knows about power. He knows that he doesn't have it and somebody else wields it.
Yeah, and can I just say, who's the president of the United States? Who's running this country? You've got Lloyd Austin, defense secretary.
Yeah, and Biden supposedly didn't even know about this.
They didn't even inform him because I swear the man is an afterthought because he's not at the top of this government. He's not in charge of anything. He's in charge of reading the words that are put in front of his face. He's in charge of signing the bills that are slid in front of him. That's all. That's all. They don't even think it's even a priority to tell him about Lloyd Austin going into the hospital.
Yeah, if you hadn't heard, Lloyd Austin was checked into the hospital. He had some kind of complication from an elective surgery.
Yeah.
And so he had to go into the hospital for days. Never told Biden. Yeah. Biden didn't know where the defense secretary was.
And his number 2 is on vacation.
Jeez.
So again, who's running this country?
Incredible. Barack Obama.
Barack Obama's running this country, absolutely. And I love how they won't even reveal what the elective surgery was. Okay, fine. It went in on December 22nd, went back in January 1st, was in the ICU for 4 days, and
intensive care.
And the point that I saw someone make is that this guy wants medical privacy, but yet Lloyd Austin was the one who demanded that military service members get the experimental shot.
And I'm sorry, you don't get medical secrecy or privacy when you're the defense secretary and you're in the ICU. Mm-hmm. The American people have the right to know what's going on with you, just like with Mitch McConnell. When he completely blanked out, not once, but twice, we had the right to know what's going on with him. And they lied to us in that case, too. He was dehydrated. I'm sorry. I've been dehydrated. That's not what that was.
Yeah. I don't think Jake Sullivan was even made aware of it. The National Security Advisor. I mean, it's just like, who is running this country?
And the second in command at the Defense Department said that she was ready to take over at any time.
No,
she was
weren't.
all set. No.
You were getting room service. Shut up.
Come on now. Unbelievable.
This country is.
We're in trouble.
Lost.
Coming up on Overtime today, we'll hear from an Iranian who crossed into the U.S. illegally. He's going to explain to us why the United States should be very concerned about who's entering the country illegally.
Wait,
what?
Very interesting.
And it's not just Republicans who see what's happening. Democrat Senator John Fetterman still making some sense.
I love it.
Listen to this.
And allies admit
there's a crisis at the border, and I don't know how anybody could pretend that there isn't.
Right?
And yet that's exactly what his party is doing. They're pretending.
Yeah. I tell you, man, these, I don't know. Are we sure that's John Fetterman?
The real John Fetterman?
Are we sure?
I'm frankly not. I mean, it could be anybody at this point. I don't know.
Did I send in the graphic of all the? I don't know that I sent this in. Shoot, the Fetterman thing, the Foursquare thing. No, like he wants to ban China from owning American farmland.
Right.
He says the Colorado Supreme Court made a mistake in keeping Trump off the ballot.
Wow.
He's obviously talking common sense multiple times now about the border.
Israel.
And here's a quote from him on Israel. I would be the last man standing to be absolutely there on the Israeli side on this with no conditions.
My gosh. That's amazing.
So again, I asked the question. It's not facetious.
I know. It's weird.
It's
weird.
Is that him?
Have you guys heard the theory that probably, I don't know if it's true or not, but I like it, that because of him going to the hospital, his brain reset.
Okay.
So I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. So he went.
Yeah.
He went to factory settings.
Yeah.
Factory reset.
He also said. Now, of course, he went to Harvard back in the day before strokes wiped him out. He went to Harvard, and he's been commenting on Harvard too. He said it's always been a little pinko.
What?
But now it's so bad he doesn't recognize it 25 years later. He said, as an alum of Harvard, look, I graduated 25 years ago, and of course it was a little pinko, but now I don't recognize it. That's amazing.
Wait, John Fetterman?
Went
to an Ivy League school?
Yeah, I'm surprised. But, I mean,
There's
we didn't see him before the stroke, really. We weren't aware of him. But it's so bad now that Sink, the guy from Young Turks, he actually pronounces it Jank, I guess. C-E-N-K, Jank. All right, whatever. But he's very disappointed with Fetterman. He called him a fraud, and he accused him of turning into a Republican.
Okay.
He said, let's see. Now John Fetterman is telling everyone how he's not a progressive. He rejects us.
Yeah.
And is now calling Harvard pinko. What the F? This is why people lose hope because of frauds like Fetterman. You work hard to get a progressive elected, and they turn into Republicans instantly. Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, we've seen that. Never.
It wasn't that long ago where we were saying on this program, 6 years, this guy, he'll be out by Easter. His wife will take over. Now we're like, all right, we got 5 more years of this guy occupying a Democrat seat. Let's go. I love it.
I will still maintain he shouldn't be in office.
No, I agree.
However, he's done some amazing turnarounds here.
What a fascinating term already for this guy.
Yeah,
it is 1/6 of the way through it.
It is. It's fascinating.
Oh boy. Okay.
Jeez.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. I wonder how he's polling. Like, I guess I don't know if they do a poll in the job approval on a senator just out of the gate, but I'd be interested to see what Pennsylvanians think about John Fetterman.
So we obviously have our share of interesting lawmakers here, and apparently so does New Zealand. Here's the inaugural speech of the youngest member of New Zealand's parliament in 170 years.
Oh, I'm excited. All right.
Is she doing the haka?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
That Aboriginal stuff, right? That is awesome.
I love this.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good way to start the session.
Yeah. I think we're bearing the lead, though. I don't think it's the speech. Can we get a still shot of that, please, going on there in the parliament? What's hanging off this guy's ear behind her? Is that garlic? It's like a garlic clove, or what? What's happening there? What is going on with his ear? What is that?
That is interesting.
Is it
a
seashell? Is it a...
Yeah, she took him off right before she started singing.
Okay. Anyway, so there you go.
That's great.
That's
great.
New Zealand's parliament. Fun stuff.
That's some interesting
Pretty intense
stuff right there.
I'd say.
Weird.
Now, I want to see Chuck Schumer do that.
Yeah.
I want Chuck Schumer doing that on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah, just to kick off a Senate session. Yeah. It'd be fun.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's where it originated, right? I think it's New Zealand or Tonga.
So
I don't know.
This
interesting.
Now I found a poll. This is from last summer, though. 39% approval rating in Pennsylvania for Fetterman.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
Whatever.
888-933-93. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Hey, we got some tweets to share. Bob blah blah 555 tweets. I'm pretty sure Karl Marx was the one who once quoted "A democracy, if you can keep it."
There it is.
Yeah, not Ben Franklin. It's Karl Marx. High Plains Stranger. How can Dems vote for Biden? They aren't voting for the candidate. They're voting for the apparatus behind the candidate. From Kevin Thompson, I've learned if you want to predict another January 6th, just look for massive sales of khaki shorts, Ray-Bans, and Carhartt shirts they wore.
Yes! I like it. That's good.
That'll be a pretty clear tip-off right there. In Germany, farmers have been protesting higher taxes on farm equipment, and hardly anybody is reporting on it. This was the scene, though, over the weekend in front of the German parliament building.
Look at this, man. They are just everywhere. Hello.
Oh, wow.
Here we are.
Yeah, wow.
You gonna take away our farm equipment?
Yeah, they really kind of showed up, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
You think that could happen here? It could, but I don't know if it would.
Look at that. That's awesome.
That's amazing. That's really something. And apparently it worked. The government scrapped the proposal. That's how it's done.
Yes.
Also in Europe, they've got big problems with mass migration, just like we do here. Here's a video of what two migrants did to a pregnant woman on a bus in France.
It's tough to watch.
Oh gosh. Darn it.
The baby is okay.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That is ugly and very, very disturbing. And here were recent immigrants to Britain who had this to say about the rape culture that so many immigrants are bringing with them.
Guys, let's go. Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. She also wanted to be raped. She's no more
like
crying.
She's enjoying it, you know, even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right to rape?
Keep listening.
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects the person that's raped?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens, she might scream, you know, people might wake up. A lot of people, especially.
I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect.
She might scream. Yeah. Sometimes we know that we might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV, you know.
Gosh!
What about regretting what you've done to the girl?
Listen to this. Listen to this.
I also do regret about it, because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
But what about her personal feelings?
Those are the consequences. What about her personal feelings? Dead silence.
Oh, that is staggering.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, did you see, like, every time the journalist guy was asking them?
Yeah, it's only how it affected them.
Yeah, well, yeah, she might scream, or I might get a disease, or she might get pregnant. No, that's not what I'm asking, man.
These are animals.
There's no other way to describe it. Yep.
Wow. Here's a British woman discussing immigration in her country, face to face with a refugee.
She's great.
You'll have your own strong viewpoints, but I believe that they can be civilly taught. I don't think that wanting to ensure the future survival of my people is unacceptable or should be seen as offensive to other people. We have a right to our exclusive identity, our home, history, heritage, culture, and to exist as a people. Nobody has the right to take that from us. The people who are trying to take that from us are the extremists, in my opinion.
Right.
And I didn't think that feels at all like exclusive or kind of contradictory with this lovely man could make a home here, because he's a gift.
Well, how do we explain that there are up to 1 million white children that have been raped in racially and religiously motivated crimes by people of his community? How is my community supposed to reconcile the fact that they opened up their doors, gave refuge to people that said, please, let us come here for a better life, and then what do?
Pause it for
rob,
a second.
extort, terrorize.
Is that an actual stat? 1 million white women have been raped by illegals in Britain?
I know for a fact that in Germany since 2017, I think it's 2.5 rapes a day at the hands of migrants. And that's not talking about just the German on German rapes.
Right.
I know it's 2.5 a day for migrants doing that to German women.
Crazy. All right, let's see the rest.
And kill our people, and you expect us not to be angry about that?
Yeah. Yes, I recognise none of that in this lovely man, and in most.
But it is coming from his community against mine, and it's racially and religiously motivated by foreign peoples that have come into our country from our gratitude and kindness.
Rape, though, is not an exclusively Asian thing. There are white folks who.
Yes, there are white men that rape. There are rapists of all things. The difference is that this is a racially and religiously motivated act of genocide that is targeted against our people to cause our people's harm. In the genocide convention, it specifically
There's
states
that excuse again. Well, we've got white people here in our own country who rape our own. Yeah, we don't need more. We don't need more rapists or murderers or drunk drivers or people siphoning off the system. We don't need any more of that. Do you not understand that? It doesn't make it okay because we already have crime. You're adding to it in a major way. What an asinine excuse, and they use it every time. Well, we've got our own blah, blah, blah here. Jeez. All right, let's see if we can make it through this. She's really good.
means causing physical and mental harm to members of a specific group. So you're not going to argue with me that gang raping children is not going to cause them serious physical and mental harm. And the difference is there's been 1 million white children, 1 million white kids in the last few decades that have been raped by Muslim Pakistani men. It is targeted, and our community have a right to be angry. If it was any other country and any other peoples, they'd be burning down the homes and trimming you out the country. But because white people are so tolerant, so far all we've done is demos, but that will come to an end, and I assure you.
Wow.
And we don't involve ourselves in gratuitous violence and terrorism. We're white people. We desolate continents, we wipe out civilizations, and we start world wars. So far we've been tolerant, but you wait until that tolerance is gone, when the Anglo-Saxon no longer wishes to tolerate the rape, robbing, and extortion and theft of our identity.
Right.
What's going to happen
from Germany or from Britain? They were originally Dukes and Saxons and Angles from Germany.
The Anglo-Saxons are a mix of the Celts and the Saxons, all northern
And
Western
the Jews
European
and the Angles.
white race people. We have no genetic difference in our composition. Europeans are all one brotherhood. Before that, there wasn't any black, browns, or Asians or anything else living in Britain. In fact, in the
Roman
1950s,
Empire, what was Europe? Europe
it was less
included
than
Mauritania, included North of Africa,
0.3% in Britain
included
were foreign.
Syria. So what was Europe then? Even the definition, the concept,
No,
even
Syria
the concept
is
of
not a
Europe,
European country.
European was different 1,000 years ago. The Romans included Northern Africa, they included parts of Syria. So there's been a heritage of change. The terms you're using, what is Europe, what is Britain, all this has constantly changed. And human
Britain's
beings
not
have been
changed
moving.
at all. Britain has been known as Britain and Great
How do we
Britain
have
since the
Oriental
Romans.
people?
Right?
Bretons.
Okay, we can say the same, right? So your home doesn't exist. It's been populated by lots of people. There's no such thing as Asians or Pakistanis, and it would be perfectly fine if we were to wipe you out. Let's take your lands, let's take your identity, let's rewrite your history so that you're not part of it, and make you not exist. You know why? Because nations and people are so interchangeable that it doesn't matter if we genocide an entire peoples, because we're all the same, right?
Could we... Katie Fannin, Bubba Kate versus the state.
Even up here, you want your own laws. They're trying to get Sharia law in London, saying that they can't be.
I will let one of my colleagues continue. It was lovely to speak to you.
Fantastic.
And I am welcome to conversation, by the way.
What was you trying to get across there?
Well,
I think it was pretty clear.
When people
Wasn't it?
think that we're being extreme or unacceptable, if what's happening to us was applied to any other peoples in the world, it would be seen as a crime against humanity. Yet when our identity is stolen, when our children are raped, when terrorist attacks are happening against us and we protest, they call us the far right. Could you imagine if 1 million black girls had been raped
Oh my
in
gosh.
racially motivated offences by white men?
Oh.
That would be all over the news. We'd never hear the end of it. But 1 million white kids can be raped, and we're told if you talk about it, you're far right. They are coming over to our country and claiming what is ours, and what is exclusively ours, and then blaming us 300 years ago. Oh, well, you came into our countries. We came into their countries when they were underdeveloped. We raised their life expectancy and their standard of living. They come here to parasite off what is already a developed nation, and because of their hatred for us.
It is hatred.
And that's the difference.
It is hatred.
And yet they claim that us, defending our own people, saying that we have a right to exist, we have a right to a homeland, we have a right to our own history, heritage, culture, suddenly we're the bad guys. But yet they advocate this all for themselves. So that's why I'm saying you can't say that we're being unreasonable when what you're advocating for your own people, you're saying we can't. So that's what I was trying to put across.
Right.
Fantastic.
And you did a great job of it.
Kate
you
Fanning.
really did. Is that a known person?
I
Is
think
she
so.
in Parliament or?
No, I don't know. Kate Fanning.
Strong speaker.
Kate,
Wow.
Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm looking her up here. Kate Fanning.
Nicely done.
She gives speeches. I know that. I just don't know anything background on her.
Again, the guy didn't know what he's talking about, calling Syria part of Europe. Wait, what? Since when? Did they move it? And I'm not familiar with that. Part of Syria, a European nation?
Well, that
No.
was his hot take.
Yeah, that was.
That's how he came back at her.
That was a hot take.
Yeah. Well, Syria.
Well, yeah, but what about Syria being part of Europe? That's
you don't have a response to that,
not,
do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, because it's not so interesting. Wow. Here's a side-by-side that's been making the rounds when it comes to immigration and New York City. Daniel Penny put a homeless felon in a fatal chokehold, of course, to stop him from attacking people on his New York train. His bail, $200,000.
Okay.
Last week, Mohammed Izzadeen broke into a New York home and raped a woman at knife point. He was released without bail.
I see. Interesting.
That is insanity.
Eric Adams, you listening? And by the way, there's now organized crime rings of illegals in New York City. high-end theft of retail stores.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that a problem?
They got that going for them. So now, look, you get all the joys that come along with unfettered immigration, Eric Adams. Guess you shouldn't have advertised yourself as a sanctuary city.
And don't forget, on Overtime today, we'll hear from an Iranian who crossed into the U.S. illegally
Love this.
and then warned the U.S. about what could be on the way for us. And it's nothing good. Give you that little hint.
What do you mean it's nothing good?
Tell you about it on Overtime today. And if you want to be a part of Overtime and you're not a Blaze subscriber yet, save $20 at blazetv.com/Pat with promo code PAT. blazetv.com/Pat. Promo code PAT saves you $20 on your brand new subscription.
Would you like a feel-good video from the weekend?
Yes.
I think we need that because congratulations to the U.S. junior hockey champions who won gold at the tournament there. And then afterward, they had the national anthem playing, and our boys sang it beautifully. Watch this. How refreshing, huh?
Nice.
No kneeling.
Did we beat Finland for it? They play hockey, obviously, better than they sing.
They beat Sweden 6-2.
Sweden. Okay.
And can you put that back up there?
6-2?
Yeah, put a still shot up there because you'll see the logo in the upper right corner is it's on TSN. That's a network in any point in the video you can put up there. TSN, look at that. Now, that's a Canadian sports network because ESPN didn't show this part of the ceremony.
Oh, interesting.
Here in America.
Yeah, why would you?
But thank you to the Canadian sports channel.
You know, you got that offensive national anthem playing, and so I'm sure they didn't want to.
We got to play commercials
people.
And stuff,
right?
know?
There's that.
Can't show pride in America. That was very refreshing.
Yeah, really nice.
And it's so
nice.
We are in a patriotism desert in America right now. So loved seeing that.
Get started on your New Year's resolutions with Factor. So you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery service takes the stress out of meal planning, and it sets you up for success this new year. Skip the grocery stores, skip the prep work, which I love, skip the cooking fatigue, and get chef-crafted, approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and lots more. Plus, over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget the frantic lunch prep and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon this new year, and they'll are all delivered right to your door. Factor now offers loads of snack options, too, like breakfast smoothies, juices, snacks, and a lot more to keep me going no matter what the schedule is. Factor has everything I need for a week of flavorful, nutritious eating. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides. If you're really in a hurry, you can pick up some of these things to energize you during a frantic time. Head to factormeals.com/Pat50. Use the promo code PAT50. Get 50% off. That's promo code PAT50 at factormeals.com/Pat50 and get 50% off.
You're listening to Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah. Some tweets here. Pathead T tweets, "Don't let Fetterman fool you. He may say a few things we like to hear, but he still votes 100% with Schumer and the rest of the crazy leftists. I'm He hasn't fooled us.
The 95, 95, 95.
Yeah. Just because we say a couple of nice things about him doesn't mean that we're going to vote for him.
Right. It's just fun to see this.
It's
from a Democrat.
It is. Paco D, the West has rejected everything that made it exceptional. The demonization has only just begun. Only just begun.
Well, that's beautiful, huh?
A High Plains stranger. J6 was designed to prevent protests like the farmers in Germany.
Such a good point. Yep, that's exactly why they set it up and then did it. And that's one of the things in the speech on Friday that Biden was bragging about. He was saying how many years? He's like, those involved in the insurrection have gotten, I don't know how many years it was total in prison. He's bragging about it. I mean, just
good gosh,
so gross.
Well, they've what, convicted over 1,000 people?
Yeah, 1,200, I think he said.
And so, how many years does that represent? A lot, I'm guessing, because
some
of them got over 20 years in prison for what? By the way, Mike Johnson has agreed to a spending deal for government funding in 2024 with Chuck Schumer.
That's good.
Averting a shutdown without the necessary border security demands. That's great. Jeez. House conservatives just aren't getting on board yet.
Good.
Which is good.
I hope they don't. And that's
they shouldn't.
January 31st, government scheduled to shut down.
Is it still, or did they avoid that?
Lit it. They haven't had the vote
they're
yet.
not going to let it. They're just not going to. They're too afraid of what that means. They can't. I guess they don't have any way to explain it to the American people that, look, essential things still happen. You're still going to get your Social Security and Medicare. You'll get all that. Okay, the military still gets paid. Things that need to happen still happen. But they're just not good at the messaging. They're just not. The TSA director is arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. An official with the TSA has been arrested on an outstanding warrant. TSA Assistant Federal Security Director Maxine McManaman was arrested in Atlanta by U.S. Customs and Border Protection on December 28th. Had a warrant for her arrest posted by the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, which claimed she and an alleged accomplice named Delroy Chambers Sr. exploited a relative suffering from dementia by falsifying documents in their name. Wow.
Good people.
Yeah. That's great to take advantage of dementia-riddled people, isn't it? Just like they're doing with the president. That's great. The Florida authorities alleged that the duo forged signatures on a quitclaim deed, transferring ownership of a property in the relative's name to themselves. The relative whose property was transferred to she and Chambers allegedly could not have signed the quitclaim deed because the individual was found to have been in Atlanta on the date listed. Chambers was previously arrested on December 20th in Port St. Lucie, charged with 2 counts of exploitation of an elderly and disabled adult, simple neglect, and 2 counts of forgery. He eventually bonded out of jail. She is facing a 3rd-degree felony charge of forgery.
Holy quality.
Yeah. Just really, the best people possible from our society in government. That's the good thing about it. So we got that going for us. Also, multiple government agencies executed a search warrant on an Amish farm in Pennsylvania on Thursday. So, this was close. They were selling illegal milk.
This really upsets me.
Yeah. Well, the streets are safe now for democracy because they've raided this Amish farm.
Yep.
Because of the illegal milk and eggnog. You don't want that. No.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. That's for sure.
You don't want illegal milk being peddled around. If you haven't, been okayed by the government, if you're not registered as a milk farm, we're going to shut you down. We will find you, you threats to society, and we will shut you down.
Yeah,
I know you're out there.
The video it's angering because it's all these federal agents that go in there. And,
descending on the Amish farm.
I think it was state troopers and stuff.
3 Pennsylvania state troopers, but 7 employees of the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. So 10 representatives of the government.
I don't think Gene Shaheen nor Ben Franklin were right. We're not a democracy and we're not a republic. We're a mafia state. Seriously.
Well, but supposedly people got sick from their illegal milk.
Okay. Oh, well.
2 states away or something. I don't know.
Okay.
They're okay. They didn't die. But, among consenting adults, you can't really sell your milk if you're informed and, that this, I don't know. It might contain E. coli. It might not. I don't know.
So if
try it out.
The
see what
government
happens.
shuts down, then federal agents won't be available to go after Amish farmers in America.
Oh, see, there's the scary part.
That would just have to be a state issue.
Yeah, that would be a state issue then. The raid of Miller's farm sought, among other things, illegal raw milk and raw milk products, including eggnog. Miller, that's the name, Amos Miller. You knew it was either Amos or Jedediah.
Yep.
But Amos Miller has never licensed his retail operation.
Whoa.
And we can't have it.
That's an unforgivable sin.
Cannot have it.
How many illegal aliens did the federal agents pass on their way to Miller's farm?
Oh, only about 700,000. So, yeah, this was the most important thing the government has done in the past week by far. Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Ain't seen nothing yet.
More on Trivia Friday as the playoffs begin in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to figure out what game we want to do this Friday.
On Saturday, the Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans. That'll be at 4:30 Eastern. Then you got the Dolphins Chiefs. Chiefs are only the 3 seed this year.
The Dolphins, man. If they had beaten the Bills last night, they could have stayed home in sunny South Florida and hosted the Bills against next week. But instead,
the Chiefs, and in Kansas City, it's supposed to be very cool.
Single digits for that game.
Ooh,
and that game's only on Peacock, by the way.
What? That's going to be viewed by about 8 people. On Sunday, it's Steelers-Bills. That's at 1 Eastern, CBS. Packers-Cowboys, 4:30 Eastern on Fox. And then Rams-Lions. So the Packers did make it. I was wrong on every one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every prediction was wrong.
I need to update our picks, yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that Rams-Lions game on Sunday night is going to be fascinating because that is Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff, who were involved in that trade a few years ago.
All right.
That's going to be interesting.
Worked out for both teams, apparently. And then Monday night, Eagles versus the Buccaneers. That'll be Monday Night Football. I don't think they used to do Monday Night Football during the playoffs.
That's a new phenomenon the last few years.
Yeah, new thing. It's kind of interesting. So there's your AFC, your NFC lineup. And then in the AFC,
you just went through
both,
all.
right? We went through them all. Yeah, we went through them all. The one I didn't touch on is tonight's big national championship game.
Wait, you just skipped right through the NFL. You didn't talk about the biggest news that the Atlanta Falcons fired their head coach overnight. Couldn't even wait till business hours today. Thank you very much. Arthur Smith has been given his walking papers.
Is that a good thing to you or a bad thing?
That's a very good thing.
Oh, okay.
You've got some of the most outstanding offensive weapons in the league, and you're not using them properly. But I can't. I'm looking for it. I could have sworn I heard this morning that his buyout is going to be, he's going to get paid $17,000 a day for the next 3 years, if I heard correctly. Which
that's not bad.
Which the math on that, if that number that I heard is accurate, that's going to equal $18.6 million to sit around and not coach the Falcons. Which, by the way, regardless of what side of the fence you were on the Arthur Smith thing, the end of that Saints game, a game against our rivals, the Saints get the ball down to the 1 with a minute left and punch it in for a touchdown to go up 48-17. And after the game, Arthur Smith, the coach of the Falcons, goes over to the head coach of the Saints and cusses him out.
Now, see, this is the NFL.
That's why you fire a guy. That's right there why you fire a guy, for complaining about that.
I'm sorry. You make $18 million over the next 3 years, so that's $6 million a year. Okay? Stop them from scoring the touchdown. You're a professional coach.
Yep.
You've got professional players all making millions, or at the very least, if they're on a rookie salary, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can't stop the other team?
Yeah.
That's not their fault.
No, it's
okay?
not.
That's your fault.
And the thing, though...
It's so pathetic.
But the thing was that afterward, the Saints coach apologized because he actually instructed his team to kneel down. They ignored him and gave it to Jamal Williams, who hadn't scored a touchdown all year. And they were like, no, we're getting one for him. So they punched it in.
That's my boy.
Yeah,
Jamal Williams.
So congratulations.
Former BYU Cougar, of course.
So, I mean, this is a rivalry game.
Last year he had 17 touchdowns.
He led the league last year.
This year he had 1?
Yep.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, that sucks. All right. So, you know what? Earn your salary.
No kidding.
And stop the other team.
Yeah, and that was
pathetic. That's just pathetic. I'm glad he was fired.
And I loved it at the very end of the game when they were walking off the field and the play-by-play announcer for CBS was like, yeah, I could see why he would be upset about that. And I'm so glad Tiki Barber jumped in and was like, this is football. You do whatever the hell you want.
Yes!
That was the quote.
Thank you!
I was like, thank you, Tiki. Exactly.
Yes.
I cannot believe that I'm in a position where I have to defend the New Orleans Saints.
This is football. Yes! We're not playing checkers here.
So, anyway.
This is not backgammon among old people, like bingo in the church basement. You're playing football for millions of dollars.
Yep. There's going to be a lot more pink slips doled out throughout the NFL as the day goes on, for sure.
Seriously, that needs to be something that's addressed. Stop being such sissies. And play football. And if you get beat 48-7 instead of 41-7, suck it up and do better next time, multimillionaires. How about that? Jeez. Speaking of multimillionaires, the national championship in the supposed amateur ranks is tonight.
Supposed amateur ranks.
Michigan and Washington get together to decide the national championship.
Down
that should
in Houston.
Be fun.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win that game?
It's hard to say. Michigan. I want Michigan to win.
You got a couple of quarterbacks auditioning for the Falcons' number 8 draft pick.
I would hate to see the Pac-12 win the national championship on their way out the door to become the Pac-2. Just to avoid that, I want Michigan to win.
Yeah, I want Michigan to win too. And I think they will.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think it's going to be an incredible game, though.
They've had a weird year. You know, first of all, they had the supposed recruitment problem from 2020 that they had to deal with, and then they had the spy scandal where they were stealing signs or whatever stupid things.
Yeah, and Jim Harbaugh, of course, is going to look good.
Yeah,
in Falcons colors next year on the sideline there in Atlanta.
Oh, you think that's who's they're going to go after him?
I don't know. He's considering an NFL job. It'll probably be somewhere else, like Las Vegas. I think is the leading candidate right now for him.
Think he's going to leave Michigan?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. All right. You want to save the planet? Of course. What you do is buy an electric vehicle.
Of course,
as we all know. There's one way and one way only, and that's for every single one of us to own an electric vehicle that sits in your garage because it has no power, because the grid can't handle it. If you don't own an EV yet, it's probably because you're too stupid to understand the benefits. That's the problem. But we have Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg here to help us understand.
You got any theories as to why the adoption curve may not be what some forecasted a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I mean, at the outset, I want to make clear it's still growing. It's just a matter of the rate of growth. But we are seeing it go through some ups and downs. We need to make sure that we keep pushing the upfront cost, the sticker price of EVs into a range where more and more Americans feel like it's to their benefit and feel confident making that choice. But we know that there are going to be some fluctuations. We also have to make sure there's the charging infrastructure to support that for long road trips. And simultaneously, we need to make sure that there's a level of education domestically about the charging capacity many people already have and don't know it. What I mean by that is a majority of Americans live in a single-family home where they might be surprised to realize that all you need technically for charging infrastructure is a plug in the wall. Of course, some people might get a level 2 charger, something that's a little faster, but a lot of people have more capacity than they already realize for charging these
And that's
EVs.
all free, right? That's all free. That electricity that is being sucked into your vehicle now, that's all free.
Do you honestly think Pete Buttigieg even thinks about what's on the other side of the wall when you plug in your car?
No, I don't.
Hey, we just need charging stations. We don't need large capacity electric plants like coal-fired and those that can handle all of the infrastructure that's required. Just plug it in a wall.
I mean, they're acting like that's not even a problem, not an issue.
It's the same country, same government that is telling us that we're going to shut down power plants.
Yeah,
that can produce the energy needed for these stupid cars.
I mean, they don't want to drill. They certainly don't want coal. What is going to power all of these things? The 5% industry of solar? Solar and wind account for about 5% of our energy. So,
do you love the planet, Pat?
I love the planet.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the only one we have.
So
it's the only home we have, Keith.
Well, hold on. That's not according to Psychic Nikki. She said we're going to find this year an Earth-like planet.
Are we?
So
that we can get to?
Sure. It's right there, and it's peopled by human-like creatures, humans that look like humans. Joe reminds me. Yeah. So,
is that what Psychic Nikki said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so there's an Earth planet with humans on it.
Yeah, I misplaced.
That's what I've always thought aliens would look like. So.
So look at that. So you and Psychic Nikki are on.
We're simpatico
there
on
you
this.
Go. So obviously, the planet, as we know, we've been brainwashed into believing, is just getting warmer. It's so hot. Like by the end of this year, it's going to be 100 degrees in the shade every day in the North Pole. But maybe not. I would like us to put the graphic up that shows the polar ice caps. Can we do that here? Because this is what you're looking at in this graphic here. So that one right there, that is December. Okay, that's December 29th, 2005 on the left.
Okay.
That's the North Pole. And then that's December 29th, 2023 on the right.
Oh.
As you can see, there's actually, if you really study this, there's more ice in 2023 up there than there was in 2005.
Oh, wow.
Just FYI. So probably the problem.
I love that. I love that.
The problem's at the South Pole, right? Let's see at the South Pole.
All right, this is where we're going to see
this is
incredible melting.
December 29th, 2005 on the left, December 29th, 2023 on the right.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's pretty much identical.
It's close. Yeah, it's close.
So there you go. Catastrophic what's happening to our planet.
Of course.
And just the recent years, as illustrated by these.
Antarctica's ice is almost gone, as you can see there. It's gone.
It's just, it's poof. Beijing, coldest December on record in more than 70 years. They just got done with that.
Yeah, they'll still tell us it's the hottest year of all time. Coldest December on record. Interesting.
Did you see, we were talking about the electricity, that ERCOT is going to connect the Texas grid with some southeastern states. So that'll be interesting.
What? I mean, that's...
I know, bro.
Oh, jeez.
And what is so wild about this, the article I was reading, is that this thing has been so under the radar, and nobody knew this was happening except for some guy, so a Keith Malinak clone that lives in a Louisiana parish, gets some parish newsletter. What's going on in the community? And he sees this thing about these high tension, it's going to be like a community meeting, Hey, we need to talk about these electrical lines coming through. And that's how they figured out that Oh, wait a minute. This is an ERCOT project from Texas that's coming through to hook in Mississippi and Alabama or something? Anyway, I mean, they have been trying to do this on the sly. But you know what?
Interesting.
It's, maybe we won't freeze to death here.
And here's somebody's EV doing its EV thing. This will be impressive, I'm sure. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. So it's on fire.
Wait for it. No! Oh, no. Hope you're out of there, bro.
Whoa.
That's a problem.
I hope everybody was out of the car.
Yeah, they were. Russian dash cam. And this just goes on and on and on and consumes the whole vehicle. But, yeah, and batteries are
safe.
Eco-friendly, as is all the toxic smoke going into the air off this thing here.
Oh, yeah, that's all good stuff right there. We just want every vehicle to perform just like that. Isn't that wonderful?
Just plug it in. That's all you have to do is plug it in. And then
a lot of people don't know. You've got the capacity for it in your house right now.
The magic happens.
Just plug it in. There's no problem. Oh, man. All right. Let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. You know, traditional media is crumbling. Why? Because they're hiding something big. People are realizing they're being lied to left and right, even by institutions they thought they could trust. But you've known the truth all along. You also know that the time to prepare for what's coming is right now. Get started doing that by going to preparewithpat.com. There, you can save $200 on an essential 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. 3 months worth of food. That'll get you through just about any emergency. Over the years, My Patriot Supply has helped millions of American families prepare for emergencies. Your family should be next. Sealed inside ultra-durable packaging, their delicious meals last up to 25 years in storage and provide over 2,000 calories a day. Eat right, even when things go wrong. With these 3-month emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply, with $200 in savings, you can get enough for each member of your family. They deserve your protection. Go to preparewithpat.com. Order by 3 o'clock this afternoon for free same-day shipping. Preparewithpat.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
President Biden made another move over the holidays to push his electric car agenda and live up to his nickname as Amtrak Joe by pressing federal employees to rent electric vehicles and take more trains.
All right.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but
what's that? Tell me.
He was standing at a train station one day. It was just after an article came out about how many air miles he traveled on Air Force Two. And one of his good buddies, he went to his retirement party and everything. One of his good friends came up to him, grabbed him on the cheek, and kind of squeezed his cheek like that.
Oh, yeah?
And said, "Hey, Joey, baby!" And he thought the Secret Service was going to shoot him in the head right then and there, which would have been bad because he would have died a second time. He was already dead when this happened.
Okay.
And then to die a second time would have been really tragic. But they didn't shoot him. And he told him, "Hey, I don't want to hear about your air travel. Do you know you've traveled over 2 million miles on trains? And most of that came after my death?"
Wait, maybe some of these government employees are now being told to take the train. Maybe they'll have a run-in with Ange, too.
Maybe.
They have their own story to tell of meeting a ghost.
Right. But in a new directive, federal employees were told to rent EVSs on official travel when costs are less or equal to comparable gas-powered vehicles.
Oh, it's a cost thing, only when they're less.
And where charging stations are available. So that's not going to happen, obviously, because you can't meet those conditions. Additionally, federal workers were instructed to take rail for trips less than 250 miles when cost-effective and feasible, rather than flying. Again, it's not cost-effective or feasible. It also directs federal employees to avoid taking private vehicles for official travel. So you can't take your own car? That's kind of weird.
Well, for federal employees, that's always been a rule.
Has it?
Yeah, if you're doing federal business, you're not allowed to take your personal vehicle.
Why is that? Do we know?
Liability. 'Cause
Really?
You're conducting federal business.
Oh, I thought it was because the federal government just likes spending money and can't imagine a world where you're saving them some.
Yeah. You don't want that. Government employees should also opt for electric vehicles from Lyft, Uber, or taxi rides if available, and increasing public transit use.
Awesome.
So how do you know if the person who comes to pick you up in an Uber is coming in an electric vehicle?
You have an
or not?
option now.
You do have an option
Yes,
now.
sir.
Okay. All right.
What?
There's an option where you can specify an
Yes.
electric vehicle
If it's available in your Uber area, you could,
jeez.
yes.
So
Just like you could just rent electric cars at Hertz or Tour the Tour app.
Yeah, that is one thing that's really under my skin. Me and Hertz, we do not get along.
Me neither.
They went a year owing me money after
Same.
they double charged me.
Did you ever get it back?
And yes, I did.
Oh, good.
And then 5 minutes later, not kidding, they filed for bankruptcy protection.
Oh, wow.
After a listener of this program used his connections in the travel industry to get that money secured for me that I was rightfully owed. But the funny thing is that 5 minutes after that, Hertz goes and buys a fleet of electric vehicles.
Tesla electric vehicles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hertz, man.
Nice.
I can't take you.
So they bought the most expensive electric vehicles.
Yeah, once they had protection.
They have protection, yep.
Perfect. Jeez. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, also, the Biden administration unveiled environmental regulations over
the Christmas break, yeah.
Over the Christmas vacation, targeting popular home and commercial appliances.
Yeah, they did.
Now, the whole appliance thing is, that is a conspiracy theory, of course, perpetrated by right-wing kooks like us. Except that this is another action that will impact millions of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to help curb carbon emissions.
Get out of my face.
The DOE finalized new energy efficiency standards for residential refrigerators and freezers and proposed standards for commercial fans and blowers. Overall, the agency said the actions would eliminate 420 million metric tons of dangerous carbon dioxide emissions over the next 3 decades and save households and businesses $5 billion a year on utility
Wow, I
bills.
really hope the federal government doesn't shut down, because then stuff like this won't get enacted, and then the planet will burn up and stuff.
The DOE's standards for refrigerators and freezers will be implemented between 2029 and 2030. And mark the first update to standards impacting those appliances in more than a decade.
Yeah.
You mean we haven't updated regulations every single year? We should do that.
Yeah.
We need more regulations.
If I'm one of these appliance manufacturers, I'm waiting until that election before I start making any plans to update things. This is a banana republic, the way we go back and forth on this stuff. That's why when Trump, as we're in December of 2020, I saw the writing on the wall, Trump's out of here, and he had relaxed the regulations on the amount of water that washers can use, and that's when I went and got them. That's the appliances I got, because I knew this kind of insanity was coming down the pike.
Yeah.
Might be time for a new fridge.
They've ruined washers. They've ruined toilets.
Showers?
They've ruined showers.
They've ruined air conditioners by taking the Freon and replacing with that insane stuff Obama wanted that's more expensive and less efficient.
I had to replace my entire AC unit because of
the new stuff.
My AC guy could not do anything to my AC.
Yeah.
Because
That's incredible.
It was in violation.
Yeah, of course. Refrigerator standards are much like dishwashers and clothes washers, where there have been so many standards over the decades that were either at the point of diminishing returns or negative returns, according to Ben Lieberman, who's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He said, and there is a tendency for the agency's own analysis to inflate the benefits. Oh, you're kidding.
No.
What a stunner that is. They would make stuff up or exaggerate or lie to us? Consumers are perfectly capable of making these decisions on their own, including consumers who want to buy extra efficient refrigerators or other models.
If they want to. Exactly.
Right. In addition to potentially increasing upfront costs for consumers purchasing new appliances, Lieberman said the new efficiency standards may harm product performance, as they always do. Mm-hmm. For example, he said new standards for dishwashers have led to cycles taking as much as twice as long to finish.
We are a stupid nation.
Oh, my God.
We're...
it's incredible. It's really incredible, isn't it?
Go by. They say they get, till 2028, 2029 till they're going to implement these things. Then I would say go and buy your refrigerators
like
in
now.
the next few years. Here.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly before 2029, for sure.
They'll probably move those up, actually, if Biden is still in there a year from now.
And they'll eliminate them if Trump gets in. I'll bet. So, yeah, you might want to just relax on that for a while.
What if Nikki Haley gets in?
Oh, jeez. I don't even want to think of it. You don't even want to think of it.
I'm going to Argentina if Nikki Haley gets in.
What about Big Mike?
Oh, that's the end.
You're trying to make us puke, aren't you? On the end.
That's the end of us. All right, we've got overtime coming up today, and we'll be right back here tomorrow to do it all over again. See you then.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.